Kia ora, e hoa mā, ko Gina toku ingoa. My name is Gina and welcome to Storytime. The book we have for you today is Remarkable Meg, written, illustrated and published by Rachel McCoubrey. Rachel McCoubrey lives in Otepoti, Dunedin, and this is a true story that happened in Dunedin a couple of years ago to a dog named Meg. Now, I've met Meg before, and the first time she was sitting quietly in Port Chalmers Library. I was surprised to see this because dogs aren't ordinarily allowed in the library, are they? But Meg is no ordinary dog. Let's find out why. Remarkable Meg. Andy and Alison Cunningham had never owned a dog before. Driving to the rescue centre, they weren't quite sure what to expect. How will we know which pup to choose, wondered Andy. At just 12 weeks old, Meg was certain of what she wanted. She bounded over to Alison and Andy and looked up at them with her big brown eyes. It was love at first sight. The other pups were racing and tumbling, playing like pups do, but Meg just wanted to be with Andy and Alison. She's adopted us, they laughed, and so they took Meg home. Meg was a mischievous pup, active and full of energy. She was part Hunterway, part Labrador, highly intelligent with a black, glossy coat. She would wake them up with her loud barking. She only wants a cuddle, Alison yawned. Meg loved to be with Andy and Alison, even in the middle of the night. Andy loved running and he took Meg on long outings up the local hills. Andy enjoyed Meg's company and she relished the chance to beat Andy to the top of the hill. This became a regular activity for Andy and Meg. Come rain or shine, they would run together for hours and hours. A couple of years passed. Meg had grown into a gentle, loyal, healthy dog. However, Andy had started to suffer from a very sore back. After several visits to the doctors, Andy discovered he had a crushed spinal cord. The doctor said Andy needed an urgent operation, otherwise he would no longer be able to walk. After spinal surgery and weeks in hospital, Andy returned to Alison and Meg. Meg was delighted to have Andy home. She raced around the house, back and forth, propping her chin on the sofa where he rested. "Why no more walkies?" her puzzled face seemed to say. Soon Andy had to try to walk again. Meg did not like the crutches. She would bark and bark every time she saw those strange metal sticks. Meg was determined that Andy would learn to walk again. "She was the one that got me back on my feet," reflected Andy. "She just wouldn't take no for an answer." The close bond between Andy and Meg strengthened as they took slow, steady walks together. In this time of healing, Andy began to consider a new direction in life. Through his love for Meg, he had become interested in helping animals. Eventually, Andy volunteered to help set up a wildlife hospital caring for sick and injured animals. Under the direction of Dr. Lisa, a brilliant vet, they assembled a team and worked tirelessly to set up the Dunedin Wildlife Hospital. As soon as the hospital opened, everyone was amazed by the number of patients. Penguins, kiwi, and even kakapo visit the Wildlife Hospital. Andy and Alison decided it was time to have a holiday. They left Meg with a close friend, Gail, and her dog. Unfortunately, not long into their trip, a phone call changed their plans completely. Gail was driving the dogs to a nearby beach when a terrible accident happened. The car shot up a bank and flipped. Gail and her dog were okay, but by the time she recovered from her shock, she realized Meg was missing. "The crash must have scared her out of her mind," Gail cried. "We have looked everywhere for her, but she has completely vanished." Alison and Andy rushed straight home, terrified and eager to join in the search for Meg. By the time they returned, their friends had already been searching for 8 hours. The next day an extensive hunt for Meg began. Alison and Andy had lots of friends through the wildlife hospital. As word spread, over 150 people joined the search party. Even with help from experienced search and rescue volunteers, there was still no sign of poor Meg. Desperate for help, the Cunninghams and their friends distributed leaflets and posters all over Dunedin. They contacted newspapers and TV stations and posted on Facebook. Many more recruits joined in the search for Meg. Weeks passed. Andy and Alison received lots of calls from the public, only to have their hopes dashed when it turned out to be a different dog. After 3 weeks, Andy and Alison were advised they should call off the search. Reluctantly, they decided to take the posters down and remove the calls for help on social media. The weeks that followed were slow and empty. It was hard to let go of the hope of seeing Meg again. One cold, windy day, the phone rang. "Hi Alison, it's Raywin from Home Farm. We think we've spotted your dog. She won't come close and we think she's badly hurt." Moments later, car keys located, back door open, Andy and Alison rushed to Home Farm. At the farmhouse they hopped into Raywin's old truck and the three of them rode through rough paddocks into the remote valley where Raywin's daughter was watching and waiting for them to arrive. Andy and Alison jumped out, eyes scanning the horizon, hoping against hope to see their beautiful dog. Suddenly, a black head popped up from behind some long marsh grass. Andy called out, "Meg! Meg, is that you?" Meg tried to stand and weakly wagged her tail. With tears in his eyes, Andy ran to Meg, stretched out his arms and hugged his beloved dog. She was so thin and whimpered in his embrace. Big open wounds oozed on both of Meg's front legs. As gently as he could, Andy carried Meg back to Raywin's truck. Alison held Meg on her lap as Raywin carefully drove them back to the farm. "She must have been drinking from the stream in the bottom of the valley," Raywin said, as she pondered how Meg had survived 5 weeks alone, lost, and too badly injured to walk. At last they were reunited, but Andy knew Meg needed urgent help. She was in a terrible state. Andy searched for a mobile signal where he needed to act quickly. His first call was to Dr. Lisa. "Lisa, it's me. I've got a very special patient for you." "Who?" "No." "Have you found Meg?" she cried in astonishment. "Bring her straight in." As Lisa surveyed the sorry state of Meg, she felt fearful. There was a lot to be done. Her legs were broken and they had become badly infected. Gina, the vet nurse, began carefully cleaning the wounds. Lisa took blood samples to check that all Meg's organs were functioning. She was given lots of injections and pills and just a tiny amount of food, which Meg was not pleased about. Once she started to recover her strength and could eat a little more, the slow job of healing her broken legs began. It took months and months of love and careful attention, but Meg slowly recovered from most of her injuries. All along, Andy stayed close, willing her to walk again. "Well, she did the same for me, didn't she?" he said. Everyone was amazed by Meg's miraculous recovery. "Healed with love," they said. Meg still wears a bandage on her left paw. Back on their daily walks, Andy is often stopped and asked, "Is that Meg, the dog that was missing for so long? Remarkable, isn't it?" And Andy replies, "Yes, she is. Remarkable Meg." Well, that is a wonderful true story, and I hope you enjoyed it. We look forward to seeing you again on Storytime. Ka kite!